This little guy is named Zayden. He'll be a year old, April 19th, 2020. The age of this little guy is pretty much the age of when I saw the light. The light meaning stay away from jobs you hate. Stay away from jobs that all they do is make you broke and miserable. I was broke and absolutely miserable. So when I got fired for the 20th time from the corporate world, 9-to-5 world, it was a blessing. Of course, that day it was terrible. I was escorted out. I pretended to go to work for about a week because I had promised Crystal I'm going to keep this job because the insurance that once it kicks in, I can help with the baby bills. So when I lost that job, I lost the insurance. I couldn't help out with the baby bills. I pretended to go to work for about a week, and I had a bulging disc in my back that was diagnosed months before. My sciatic nerve was being hit by this bulging disc, and it was I'm not kidding, guys, it was constant lower back pain. I had just been fired. Crystal was pregnant. I'd lost the insurance. So for a week, I was so embarrassed. It was like rock bottom. I had lived my dreams in entertainment. You know, I'd toured, I've done videos, I've opened for national acts. I was so close so many times. You know, I'd have big chunks of money for licensing my music or commercials and stuff I've done. So I wasn't able to sustain it. So I had to go. I met Crystal, started having a family, tried to do the corporate thing. Anyway, so when I got fired on March 7th for about the 20th time, and I was leaving for where I was pretending to leave for work in the morning, and I parked in a church school parking lot about a half mile from our home and just sat there and soul searched. I had a notebook. What do I do? You know, and I was just going to go naturally and organically to a place where I was going to be happy and make enough money to provide for my family. I soul searched in a way that, you know, it wasn't about to try to find the next cool thing to do to add to Darryn's cool entertainment story. This was about survival. This was about being happy. This was about looking forward to the mornings and not miserable, because I hated getting up in the morning to go to a job I hated, help someone else make all the money, get disrespected. Now, if you're cool with the corporate world and you're happy, you've won. It's all good. I'm talking about my experience and what led me to what I'm doing now. Started researching stuff online. You know how it is. If you Google stuff or you search on Facebook, you start seeing ads. So I started seeing ads for things I was interested in. I wrote down, okay, Darryn, what 3 jobs have you had the longest? Substitute teaching. You know, of course, my music. You know, I've been a coach here and there. You know, out in Santa Monica, Malibu Unified School District. I was a substitute there for 5 years, and I was an assistant coach. I loved coaching. I loved music. I loved teaching. I loved helping people. So I started getting these life coaching ads coming at me on Facebook. So I started interviewing with Tony Robbins people and Russell Brunson people and Gary Vee. Carolyn Soldo was one of the first ones I discovered. The list goes on and on of people that I started researching and figuring out. So anyway, so I started thinking about maybe I should be a life coach. So I launched the Rock and Roll Life Coach, started doing that, started working with artists. Back up a little bit, out in LA when I was living in Los Angeles, I had a bunch of I worked at labels and management companies, and I had a lot of artists on management companies that talked to their manager. They wanted to bring me in as a mentor because they could tell, you know, I was a good guy, I knew my stuff, I was passionate, and I've always been about helping people. So they wanted to hire me to help these other bands, and I was like, wait a second, I got a band. Why don't you manage my band? I'm not going to mentor anybody. I want to be the band, you know. So I wasn't ready to be a coach at that point. So anyway, I called those people back years later and said, hey, I know it's been a huge lapse here, but now I'm interested in mentoring bands. So they, of course, it wasn't the same bands. They had moved on and done some stuff, or weren't doing it, or whatever. So their current bands, I started mentoring some of their current bands and making a little bit of money. So I started getting into it. So throughout this, I had a bunch of people ask me, well, Mind you, after a week, I told Crystal that I lost the job. Told her, but I told Crystal, I got good news and bad news. Sorry for jumping all over the place here, but hope you follow this. I said, Crystal, I've been fired. I've been pretending to go to work for a week. That's the bad news. But the good news is I've discovered something. This life coaching thing, you know, the limit for the money, there is no limit. The sky's the limit. You get paid for your work ethic. You get paid for your personality. Stuff that I've always wanted to do, but in my passion, no offense, but I didn't want to sell cars. You know, I was hired on the spot at like 8 different car dealerships. And it wasn't my passion, you know, so I told Crystal that, you know, she was supportive. She just there, I just want you to be happy, you know, thank God for Crystal. So anyway, so started doing the life coaching thing, working with artists. So I had all these artists ask me, well, Darryn, you're helping us. You've landed us some cool things. Why aren't you doing your main passion? Why aren't you doing On Tracy Lane, OTL, which is my original band I started out in LA, all my music. And after I got about 3 or 4 artists I started working with over these few months, asking me that, I said, you know what? Why am I not doing OTL? So anyway, so I started researching the new music business, and I got so excited. I had no idea what was possible now as an artist. You know, the traditional music business back in the day, if you weren't signed by a major label, those were the gatekeepers to the radio promo budget and, you know, the giant shows. If you didn't get through that gate via a major label to get to all that massive promotion, there's no way you can make it. I mean, of course, there are some people did apply, but 99% of people, if you weren't signed to a major label, you were not going to become a big artist, a national artist. And I was close so many times, it didn't happen. Met Crystal, started thinking I should get a 9-to-5 job. And so when I started realizing that gatekeeper situation in the major label era was just shattered. People were finding ways. People were able to find their audience themselves and not have to even have a label. So I started seeing all these bands that were making, you know, a little bit of money to medium-sized money to millions of dollars with no label by themselves. Just this past January of 2020, YouTube counts artist plays toward the Billboard charts. So I started re-releasing some On Tracy Lane stuff, writing new stuff. So then I started getting into my music again. So I was doing live coaching, I was doing my music. And then I started realizing that what I've done, how I've gotten to this point, I can help others. So then I did Russell Brunson's One Fun All Way Challenge. I did a bunch of other courses, Dave Days, and then I found a mentor. I found my mentor, the guy who helped me kind of tie it all together with an amazing course, the Blow Up Duplication course. I took Coach Miguel's course. He is my mentor. So not only am I doing my music stuff, my life coaching stuff is kind of morphed into this new thing I'm doing with Coach Miguel. So yay! So I am so excited to be doing this, and I want to help other people get there. If you have a passion, if you have a calling that you're not doing, and you're broke and you're miserable, or you're near broke or near miserable, Coach Miguel and we can help you. I'm making my own schedule. Being able to sit here and watch my baby while my wife goes and tends to one of our kids who's sick at school. You know, I get to see my kids. I'm gonna make my salary at that stupid recruiting job in a month pretty soon here. And that's just to show the proof that this can happen. Because I know that's the first thing people ask is, how much money can you make? Blah, blah, blah. Guys, it's so funny, if you have a talent and a passion, you can monetize that to make more money than you ever made at a job that you hate, a job that's making you nothing but broke and miserable. It's just awareness, education, research. Miguel and you guys have at your fingertips a mentor in me to help you with whatever you need. You have Miguel to help you. We both do weekly calls at different times. We might do some stuff here together pretty soon. But I highly recommend this blow up duplication course. It takes you from A to Z. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of information. You need to go through it a bunch of times probably, or just to have us help you. And if you want to find out, like, oh my gosh, okay, I learned all this stuff, but what am I gonna do? What's my passion? What's my talent? What's my angle? What's my why? How do I do all that? That's what I did for almost a year straight before I met Coach Miguel and found his course. So I can help you with finding what you need to find, and this blow-up duplication course that Miguel has that I'm a huge proponent of. So I can help you with finding your passion, finding your talent, how to package it, how to get it into the right social media online thing, and then Miguel can take, after you realize that, after you figure that out, Miguel and I can take you and put you into this course and blow it up. It's not easy, but it's very simple. You have to have a strategy, a passion, a desire to make it happen, and you can make it happen. Coach Miguel says, see you at the top. I say lean in and dominate. And I probably should start wrapping up this video, but I wanted to give you guys a little, this real, genuine video about my story. Come on now. Love you guys. My name is Darryn Yates. This is Zayden. He's done. And my wife just got home. It's so funny. I've been trying to, like, plan it out, what I'm gonna say, what am I gonna do. But when Crystal gave me the baby, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it right now. So here I am, finishing the video. There's Crystal. Every now and then, when I'm in a zone and I'm feeling it and I'm working on my online marketing stuff, Crystal needs help. Baby's crying, kids are arguing, or whatever. I need to go upstairs and be a dad. I'm down here and go back to work. So it's possible. There's no excuses. Trust me, there are people that have probably 8 kids who are going through some serious tough times. They made it happen. So there's really no excuses.